Welcome to today's analysis. We're unpacking an explainer of what is, without a doubt, one of the most chilling mysteries of the modern era. Today, we're looking at a case pulled straight from the true crime records, one that completely defied logic, totally challenged investigators, and honestly, just left the public entirely baffled. I want you to imagine a crime scene so bizarre, so meticulously crafted, that it feels like something ripped right out of a dark fiction novel. But the story we're exploring today is very, very real. It's a dark puzzle, and it asks us to look closely at the evidence to try and somehow comprehend the completely incomprehensible. So, what is the most mysterious case to ever shock Australia? Take a second and really think about that. When you delve into true crime records, you definitely hear about a lot of unsettling things, right? But it takes something truly unprecedented to paralyze an entire nation's law enforcement. We're talking about a level of mystery here that doesn't just ask who did it, but how and why on a scale that completely defies standard criminal behavior. This is a case that has literally haunted the region for decades. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, a normal fishing trip, setting the scene. August 1994. Think about that specific era for a moment. It was a time way before ubiquitous smartphones, instant digital tracing, or, widespread GPS tracking. It was a time when a secret could still be easily swallowed by the deep waters if someone tried hard enough to hide it. The air was calm, the days were moving by just like they always did. Actually, there was absolutely nothing about August of 1994 that felt like it was going to make grim historical headlines. And we're in Sydney, Australia, specifically out on the vast river waters. A group of local fishermen headed out for what they fully expected to be just an entirely ordinary day. They had their gear, they knew the currents, and their only goal was a good catch. I mean, these weren't detectives or deep-sea explorers searching for evidence. They were just regular people looking to pull up a net full of fish to make a living. They had absolutely no idea they were about to pull up a literal nightmare. Section 2. The terrifying catch. A horrific discovery. Let's move to and see how this builds. First, the fishermen enter the river, casting their lines and nets just as they always do. But then, their net hits something, and it is incredibly heavy. We're talking far heavier than any normal school of fish. You can just imagine the physical strain, right? The tension on the ropes as they struggle pulling this massive weight up from the murky depths of the river. They're expecting a massive, record-breaking haul. But instead, as the net finally breaks the surface, the horrific contents are brought into the daylight. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer, unimaginable whiplash of that exact moment. They were expecting a typical heavy catch of fish, a successful, normal day on the job. But the grim reality that actually broke the surface was something else entirely. It was a massive, custom-built iron cross, and tied securely to it were human remains. The absolute shock of this discovery really cannot be overstated. You're out on a peaceful river, and suddenly, out of nowhere, you're face to face with a gruesome medieval-style scene hidden beneath the waves. Section 3. Rackman, a nation in shock. Rackman. That is the chilling moniker given to the unknown man found crucified underwater. When this broke, the police were completely paralyzed by the scene. I mean, this wasn't a standard incident by any stretch. It was an elaborate, terrifying tableau that immediately gripped the entire nation of Australia with fear and total disbelief. He wasn't just a victim. The bizarre nature of his disposal, strapped to this massive iron cross, transformed him into a dark enigma instantly. Everyone was desperately searching for the true identity behind that name. Section 4. An unanswered mystery. The haunting questions. Here is the first massive pillar of this mystery. Who is the unknown man? Think about how incredibly difficult it is for a person to simply vanish without anyone looking for them, especially someone who ends up at the center of such a high-profile theatrical crime. Yet, despite massive national attention and a relentless investigation, his identity remained a complete black hole. No ID, no clear answers, just an anonymous soul subjected to an unimaginable fate. Then we hit the second pillar, and arguably the most disturbing question of the whole shebang. Why was a custom-made cross constructed for him? This was definitely not a crime of passion or some spur-of-the-moment accident. Someone had to acquire massive pieces of heavy iron. They had to construct it into a specific cruciform shape. Then they had to transport this incredibly heavy object to a body of water without being seen by anyone. The sheer effort, the bizarre, highly specific, and deeply unsettling nature of this device, it points to a motive that is far, far darker than anything standard. It was symbolic, it was intentional, and it was meant to stay hidden forever.
So, the crucial point is, why was the crime planned with such meticulous perfection? To pull this off, the perpetrator had to perfectly calculate the exact weight needed to sink the body. They had to navigate a boat onto the river carrying an immense load of iron and a human being, all without drawing a single eye in a busy area like Sydney. The chilling level of premeditation required for an act like this is what truly kept detectives awake at night. It suggests an offender who is organized, patient, and terrifyingly capable.
A meticulously planned crime that continues to haunt Australia. As we wrap up this explainer, we're left with that chilling truth. Reflect on those 3 unanswered questions we just covered. An unknown victim, a custom-built heavy iron cross, an act flawlessly executed and hidden beneath the river's surface. It's the kind of meticulous perfection that leaves you wondering, who among us is actually capable of walking away from such a dark masterpiece? And even more terrifyingly, if they could pull this off without a trace back in 1994, are they still out there today? I highly encourage you to look deeper into the case of the Rackman on your own. It's a dark puzzle that absolutely still needs solving. Thank you so much for joining me for this analysis.